What is going on, my beautiful LARPers and LARPettes? Today we're going to go over the brand new spanking Sholo Manufacturing Blackjack. Now this is a very unique and cool little gun here, and I have a couple of other ones on the table. As you can see, I'm not in my normal studio, and I am out here actually in the desert with the owner, Jeremy. Jeremy, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, good. It's always a treat when you get you're going to get all of the info through this review process or through this process of us going over the guns straight from the source. So, Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of background on how you started the company?
So in 2021, we started Sholo Manufacturing. Pretty much started with our patented detent delayed blowback system and wanting to bring an AK style PCC gun to the market. So it started with the bolt and then turned into the 16-inch rifle, the 8.5, the 4.5, and then now we're also testing a full auto version.
Gotcha, gotcha. And I remember when we were first talking, you gave me a little bit of history on why you guys called it the Blackjack and Sholo and all that stuff. So what's going on with that deal there?
So in our town back in the late 1800s of Sholo, Arizona, there were two ranchers that played a card game, and the loser had to leave, and then the winner got to keep all of the land. And the game that they played was a game where they had to show low, the lowest card won. So one guy told the other guy, "You better show low." And he turned over the deuce of clubs, and at that point he said, "Show low it is," and it was called Sholo Ranch from there. So that's why you see the deuce or the club in our card logo, and why it's called the Blackjack in the card theme.
Gotcha. Okay, it's really, really cool. So let's go over pretty much all the details that you have on this gun. So I'm going to hand you that one there. That one's mine, right?
Yep.
And then I got your little K version over here, and you have a 16-inch on the table. So what kind of barrel are we working with here?
So our barrel is 4150 chromoly steel. A company called Mostech out of Mesa, Arizona, manufactures our barrels.
So what kind of accuracy are we getting out of these barrels here, out of that 16-inch specifically?
So out of the 16, we get about a 1.5-inch grouping at 100 yards.
Okay. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different from the 4-inch here and an 8-inch over there. Obviously, I have a suppressor on mine over here, which makes it super, super smooth when I have it on here. There's no tuning involved. You just slap on the suppressor and you're good to go. And they don't come with a muzzle device, right? They just threaded 1/28 and you just slap whatever muzzle device you want on there, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. I'm understanding here with all the parts and pieces that you're using on here, this is a pretty much pure American-made gun, right?
Everything on this gun is 100% manufactured in the USA. Everything that we buy for it, it's sourced for it, is American made as well.
Gotcha. Now moving on back to the rail. The rail is basically just a piece of square aluminum, right? So what's going on in the rail here?
So with the rail, we decided to go with the aluminum square rail because with the round rail just didn't fit our upper and lower, and trying to maintain more of an AK look, so we stuck with the square handle.
So basically mostly like aesthetic purposes, like it fits all the clean lines and stuff like that. And I think when I talked to you about it, the rail's kind of my back and forth where I'm like, man, does it not look good or does it look good? If I put a round rail on it, is it probably gonna look worse? So as far as ergonomics, you think it's gonna be super like not ergonomic, but once you start putting attachments and stuff like that one over there, it does get pretty good ergonomics on it, right?
Correct, yes.
Gotcha. And I see there's a new part up on top of there. It's a rail, right? A rail adapter piece, because or you can't see because that 16-inch has them, but basically you make them where it's just a full-on rail with M-lock slots all the way up and down it with no 1913 rail adapter up there, right?
Yes, correct. We added on to this so you could put more accessories on, but also be able to remove it.
So that makes it look a lot more aesthetically pleasing there. And it's cool if I can get a little bit of history on this rail. So when you came out, I was like, hey, you guys got to do something about the aesthetics of this thing. Can you add a rail on top? And that's the first thing you guys did when you guys went back. You guys went back, designed a rail, and you put my logo on it, and you considered, you asked me, hey, what do you want to name this rail? So I think it's really cool. So we ended up calling that the Ace Rail Adapter, which I feel that it fits the whole Blackjack theme, right? So,
Correct,
yeah, I think it's really cool when a company actually listens to people and actually tries to accommodate a lot of different things. And what do we have working with moving on back on the receiver set there?
So on our bolt, that is where our patented detent delayed blowback system is in.
Okay.
So that's what kind of started this whole thing, was having that design and patenting the blowback system detents. So our detent delayed blowback system has the loaded springs detents, and when it rides across our recoil spring rod, it reduces the recoil in the gun.
By how much do you think it actually reduces it? Because I have a KP9, I have an AKV, I have Streebogs, I have all different types of 9mm, and this one is extremely, extremely smooth. So what do you think, comparing it to other ones or comparing it to a normal blowback system, what kind of percentage are you looking at in recoil reduction?
I would say right now, with testing that we've done, we're around 15 to 25% less recoil.
Nice, nice. So you guys developed a system around that. What made you want to go with an AK system and just not just like a normal AR platform or something like that?
So we wanted to do an AK style rifle for the PCC competition shooters, something on the AK platform that's more accurate, less recoil, faster, and stuff like that.
Gotcha. And that one's this here, right? With the full
Yep.
16-inch. And this one is extremely smooth. I mean, I can compare this, like, I think it's up there around like the MPXs and stuff like that in terms of how smooth they shoot. So you developed an AK around it, and you went with, now we're going on to the receiver itself. You went with Scorpion mags.
Yes.
So why Scorpion mags?
The Scorpion mag was just to give it a little bit more of the AK look rather than using the straight stick mag. So we used the CZ mag just to give it that flow of the AK.
You guys think you ever do like a MP5 style mag? Because those are pretty curved too as well.
Yeah, it might be something that we look into.
Okay, all right. And what are we working with on the receiver here? I don't notice you have a lot of cutouts and a lot of screws and a lot going on. That's kind of what turned me on about this gun, is that you guys made an AK platform, but it doesn't really look like an actual traditional AK. It looks like its own thing.
Yeah, so a lot of the cutouts you see on there was for weight reduction.
Okay.
And just to give it a little more style and just to kind of make it look better.
Gotcha, gotcha. And what's the deal with all the screws on here? It's all purpose driven with there's separate parts on each one of these screws here that hold things together?
Yeah, all the screws are holding in a part piece. Some that you can see by the Blackjack logo are holding our mag catch in, our safety plate, and then our rear attachment.
Gotcha. And with these screws, is it a concern for somebody to, like, if they pick one of these up, should they be Loctiting all these screws themselves as well? Like, I know you guys probably do something like that, but should they just keep an eye on everything? Because that's kind of one of my other concerns, is shooting it so much, I'm afraid of something backing out, you know?
So when we assemble these in our shop, we basically have torque specs for them, and we do Loctite them when we put them in. So on our website, there will be a torque spec sheet on there. For any reason you need to take it apart, you'll be able to go back and get those torque specs and put the Loctite on them, and they'll stay tight.
Gotcha, gotcha. And you got a plate right here, right, on the receiver itself. Is that just aesthetic, or is there a specific purpose that you guys just added an extra plate to that, or?
So the plate, for using our safety selector, we didn't want the steel pieces to ride on the aluminum. And plus, that's what holds our trigger pins in place as well.
Gotcha, gotcha. And now, today, we were testing out the full auto version too. So you have a plate that is full auto rated, basically. So that one was really cool to have. Alrighty, next up, what kind of paddle are we working here? This is just a normal, like, ping pong AK style paddle there that you use to release the magazine?
Yeah, just kind of more of a standard traditional AK mag release.
Gotcha. And you have a bolt catch and bolt release on this side as well, right? This little lever here?
Yeah, that is a feature that we added to this. So it does have a bolt stop system on it. So that's what all that's tied into. So when the mag stays open when you're out of rounds.
Gotcha. I notice when I'm reloading, I could get pretty fast reload by just inserting the mag and hitting that with my thumb. It's pretty good. Internally here, what are we working with in terms of a trigger?
So it comes stock with the PSA trigger in it. We have tested ALG, Hyperfire triggers work very well, but the PSA is the one that we use for our stock. But we do recommend using the Hyperfire or the ALG trigger as well.
Gotcha. And to go off on a little tangent here, apparently I have an issue with running this thing and any trigger for that matter. So if you have an extremely fast trigger finger or a fast trigger finger? What do you recommend? Just
I would recommend the Hyperfire or the ALG trigger for that.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So if you've seen there in the intro or something like that, if there was like a double tap or a triple tap or something like that, that's basically we boiled it down to it's just my fault for running it too fast. Maybe I'm bump firing it, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but we have 4 or 5 other people out here that shot this thing, and I'm the only one that can do it. So yeah, there you go. So all right, moving on to the trigger guard here. Is it just an add-on aluminum piece here or a metal piece there?
Yeah, so that's a metal trigger guard that we form and build in our shop.
Okay, cool. Give it that AK vibe as well, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your safety selector on the left
Yes.
side, on the right side.
Right side safety selector.
So up and down. Gotcha
Yeah.
there.
Safety mechanism works just like an AK does.
Gotcha. And you use a standard AK grip on this as well, so any
Yes.
AK grip would drop on that?
Yes, standard AK grips and the stocks. So on our pistol, you'll see that it comes with the Picatinny rail back, but our rifle comes with the stock AK back, but you can swap them out. So if you prefer to do a folding stock or you prefer to have the stock AK on it, then we also have that available as well.
What are we looking at in terms of, I guess, what do they come with from the factory? Are they expecting to see something like that over there? Or are they expecting to get one of these plastic grips? Or is it kind of like a build your own thing once you get to accessories?
So it comes stock with the MOE, hand grip stock and the MOE magazine.
In the Palmetto trigger?
Yes, and the Palmetto trigger.
And are you going to have that option where people can like buy upgrades on your website where you can drop them in for them, or like the ALG triggers or Hyperfire triggers and stuff?
Yes,
like
that? we do carry some of the aftermarket stuff that doesn't come stock with it on our website.
Alrighty, so I think we pretty much went over every little detail. How do you actually break this thing apart?
So we have the button here on the back that opens it up, that gives you access to the trigger and to the bolt system.
Gotcha. And to talk more about the bolt system, like I said, we can't really show a lot of on YouTube of us disassembling it, but I'm going to throw in maybe some diagrams or some video of it disassembled and stuff like that. But what are we working with inside of that bolt? How many springs, how many moving parts do we have in there? What are we working with?
So we have the detents on the top that are spring loaded, two detents on the top. We have the firing pin spring.
And then you have the recoil springs, right?
Yeah.
Is it a dual recoil system or is it a single recoil rod?
Single.
Okay. And yeah, I think we pretty much went over everything. This thing is extremely smooth shooting, and they're already available, right?
They are available on our website at sholomfg.com.
Okay, gotcha. And what's the price breakdown of each one of these, the K, the 16, and that 8-inch over there?
So our pistols run about $16.49 and the rifle runs at $17.49.
Gotcha. Now, the last thing I want to address, obviously, when we first came out here, we were having a little bit of issues, and then today we had some sort of issues. The main issue being the extractor was being a little bit of a pain in the ass, right? And that's just from me shooting. Did I shoot like 2,000 rounds here today?
Yeah, we did shoot around 2,000 rounds today. Yeah.
Yeah. So the extractors, what are you guys doing to address the extractor? Making a stronger material or something like that?
Yeah, we're looking at getting stronger materials made for our extractors to kind of beef that up, to keep the wear down after a few thousand rounds, so it stays more consistent.
Not a lot of companies or individuals that own companies would take the time to drive out here and do all this stuff and test and interview and do a review and all that stuff. So I think it's very honorable that you guys are coming out here and addressing these issues and showing people that even though you're a new company, you're going to progress and make things better, and you guys are listening to people. So I would assume if people were to buy these and come out and say, hey, I have an idea for a rail, or I have an idea for this or that, you guys are pretty open about every idea that's thrown at you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's something somebody wants to see or something they want to build, and they just want to see somebody that's fully making everything in the United States as well.
Are you guys going to come out with different versions of this, of Gen 2s, Gen 3s, what other calibers? What are you guys looking at here in the future?
Yeah, so there's slight few changes that we might make to this as far as, lightening it up, making it a little faster and stuff like that. But we are working on some other calibers for this as well.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, I didn't ask the weight question. Are these things aren't really that heavy? You know, like you think it's a big block of metal, but it's not really. I don't see a difference here in the weight between this and like my MPX or something like that.
So the MPX weighs 6.6 pounds. Right now, the Blackjack comes in at 6.1 pounds.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, this little, you got a K version here, right? So good stuff, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming out and giving me the time to do this whole process. These things are extremely fun. You guys are going to be at SHOT Show, right? So
We will be at SHOT Show, Venetian level 1, yeah.
do you have a booth number or not yet?
I don't know what it is. So.
Not yet. Well, just look for, I think you could just type in your name, right? Sholo Manufacturing on the SHOT Show app, and it should pop you up your booth number and all that stuff, right?
Yes, correct. That'll do that.
Gotcha. Alrighty, guys. So make sure you check out Sholo Manufacturing at SHOT Show. They're gonna have this stuff out there for you guys to check out. I'm glad you guys are seeing it here today on the Gatman channel, and I'm glad that you guys came out to do this stuff with me. To me, I see it as an honor that you would take the time to come out here and us test this stuff out, because that's the fun of it, you know. The fun of it is testing stuff out, making sure everything works, and making sure you're getting a good product out to the consumer.
Yeah, we appreciate the invite to come out.
Yeah,
We
no
love it.
problem. All right, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all. Catch you in the next one.